Hey everyone, it's December 19th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with Swedish murderer Ulf Olsson, known as the Helene Man, and that is him right up there, and I'd like to apologize for the terrible Swedish pronunciation in this video. Born in 1951, Olsson grew up in a strict family with abusive parents. His siblings seemed to make it through their troubled adolescence without lasting damage, but he grew to be the town oddball as a teenager, preferring to spend time in the woods alone rather than return home where he would be beaten. He had mediocre grades in school, except for art class, where he excelled. Olsson never made friends with kids his own age, instead preferring to play with younger children at school. He worked as an errand boy once he graduated, but ultimately had a nervous breakdown and was sent to an asylum. After 2 months, he was deemed fit to return to society and worked at a slaughterhouse for 2 years until his mental state started to slip yet again. This time he joined the crew of a merchant ship in order to get away, sailing around the world. Olsson later claimed to have killed a man in Thailand during this time, but that was never confirmed. He also claims to have briefly joined the French Foreign Legion, but that also has never been confirmed. Olsson returned to Sweden in the 80s and was pretty quickly married and divorced twice in rapid succession, moving into a remote cabin outside the town of Hor. In 1989, a 10-year-old girl went missing in the town with her body found 6 days later. Evidence showed that she had been held for several days, severely beaten, and sexually abused before she was killed. Later that year, a 26-year-old prostitute disappeared with her body found the next day. Technology to analyze DNA evidence wasn't available yet, so the crimes weren't tied to one another, and while the police had plenty of suspects, no one was arrested for either murder. In 1991, an anonymous call was placed by Olsson to police, saying on the phone, "I'm so lonely, that's why I did it. I just happened to be Helene, and she was just there. And Janica, I got so angry that I killed her. I strangled them and beat them to death." They were unable to trace the call, and nothing happened until 13 years later, when the lead investigator received a CD-ROM in the mail with a confession letter. It read, "Hadn't I been bullied while in Horby Elementary School, this never would have happened. I killed Helene and Janica. I did it alone." 2 suspects had been arrested the previous year, but were cleared when it became apparent they couldn't have killed either one of the victims. Olsson was on a list of 29 suspects in 2004 who were asked to provide DNA samples to try to match evidence recovered from the crime scenes 15 years earlier. They got a match, and he was arrested that night. He was convicted of both murders and sentenced to life behind bars in a psychiatric clinic. In 2010, Olsson hanged himself in his room, bringing an end to this sad saga. These murders were considered to be the worst thing to happen in Sweden until it was eclipsed a few years later by Ace of Base releasing The Sign. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a message so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Ulf Olsson, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.